to the latest episode of BAM Weekly, the show where we chat some sports, the show where we chat some entertainment, and then at the end we bring it all together to chat some sports entertainment, otherwise known as wrestling. We're your hosts. I'm Boris, and I am joined by Matt.
Bonjour. How's everyone doing out there? We hope you're doing well. Boris, it is post-Thanksgiving season. We're creeping into that Christmas season, the Xmas, the holidays. So, you know, that's about to happen. Lots of Christmas carols, lots of Christmas specials, Charlie Brown, all the Simpsons episodes we love. The
Peanuts special is one that I always watch every single year. The Simpsons, I haven't watched a Simpsons Christmas episode, honestly, since 1999.
Oh, dang.
I think that was honestly the last year. I think that was the last year that I watched it live, as it was happening.
Like live?
Yeah, like live. Like as they were drawing. As they were drawing, that's the last time I watched it.
It's really impressive that you saw that. You're one of, I'm sure, only a few people. No, you know what? They did one in 2008 or 9 with a Grinchy character called the Grumple. I actually really like that one. The Simpsons Christmas specials are still pretty good. But yeah, oh man, you know what? I saw Frosty. And Frosty Returns, the 1995 one that is largely forgotten. Yep. And they updated it with HD graphics, HD animation, and it is weird. It's off-putting. I don't like it. I do not recommend it.
See the strings and the animatronic and stuff?
No, it's just very, very strange. I don't know. It's just my brain was not processing it well. It actually fit better with the 1995 one, but Frosty Returns is so much worse than the original Frosty. It's just a very strange 2 hours.
Disney Plus is on a roll right now. So not only did they release the sequel to A Christmas Story a few weeks ago, they also have the Santa Claus Tim Allen TV show going on right now.
Oh, nice. Have you checked out any of that?
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm planning a weekend to do that. I'm weak.
What's the new? Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, man. You live your life, Boris.
Putting the show to a halt.
Just to an absolute grinding halt. But okay, so there was Home Improvement, and everyone knows and loves that. But there's the new update where he's got daughters, and he's got a YouTube show where he talks about standing. Tools. What's that called?
Awesome. Last Man Standing. Think of the wrestling match, you weakling.
What, weakling?
Jesus
Christ, we're fired up on this podcast today.
I was trying to think of something nicer to say. That's all I could think. Oh my God, it's one of those shows.
It's so funny. Last time my old roommate Carrie, last time I saw her when she's still in Sudbury. Last time I went to her house, her and her boyfriend were watching just nonstop Last Man Standing. It was the only time I've ever seen it to this day. It is exactly Home Improvement.
It is
a YouTube show.
It really is. It's Home Improvement, except he works in a outdoor store, kind of like the Bass Pro Shop or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
or a Dick's.
It's a great call.
A Dick's Gooding Sport. Yeah. Everyone likes their Dick's Gooding Sports store.
What? Gooding Sports Store? It's exactly like the Bass Pro.
Yeah.
It's Bass Pro Shop. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. We're off on some wild tangents, but yeah, I do not recommend Last Man Standing personally. But if you liked Home Improvement, definitely check that one out.
It's not bad. It gets better in the middle, but once
it's not that bad.
Left whatever station it was on, I forget who actually aired it. I want to say ABC. When it left ABC to Fox, it became something different. A lot of the characters left. Yeah. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's a lot of the characters left, right? So it just wasn't the same. It just wasn't the same. The people that I cared about.
One of those. Right, they were gone. Yeah, one of those 70s show situation where Foreman leaves and then Kelso leaves, but again he comes back, but then Hyde turns out to be a rapist, and you're just like, who am I cheering for now?
Jesus.
Like the 70s show.
Oh,
anyway, we should talk some sports.
Well, whatever, man. How are you? How was your weekend?
It was pretty good, pretty nondescript. It was getting over a cold. Yeah, people at work are sick, so that's where I'm getting it. So we're all just trying to, I don't know, wear masks where possible and be like fucking not terrible. But yeah, I don't know, just getting over it. At least I guess my immune system has been strengthened in the last week or two, Boris. I feel like I'm kind of almost back up to speed fully. Work is busy though. Life is busy. I got a new gimmick for the wrestling lists coming up. I like to have the yearly list going and also a second list going just because I like wrestling. I'm a huge nerd. One day I want to write a book about it all and do a YouTube series about all these things, which we're going to hopefully start more in 2023 anyway, buddy. Because Monday Night Raw
Sooner rather than later.
Sooner rather than later. Monday Night Raw is nearing its 30th anniversary. The big homie. I don't know if you've seen that. Raw Triple X coming up.
Yep. Bigger, longer,
yes,
uncut.
Yes.
Yep. that was
funny.
That was honestly one of the marketing slogans back in the Attitude Era.
Oh, guaranteed, absolutely. Well, straight out of South Park. That's the South Park movie. Yeah. Bigger, longer, uncut. A dick joke right there. but anyway, so we're gonna do here on BAM top 100 Raw matches, and not just that, but we're gonna do like a deep dive on Raw. We're gonna do top 25 moments of the 90s, 2000s, and 2010s that you can't really cover in the matches because I want to talk about Raw. You know what I mean? When it was great, the moments we love, top 100 matches, at least might even throw in some off the post and some moments. I might do episodes, but that's hard because I'm not watching full episodes of Raw. I'm not sitting there and watching the entire Raw catalog, right? But I've made a couple lists up, and I think we're going to celebrate Raw in the new year. Even though I don't watch it currently, you can't make me. 3 hours is just too much.
Yeah, 3 hours is way too much. Way too much time. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It's crazy, man. 30 years. Like, I remember that first episode of Raw. I watched it via tape months later.
Yeah, because we didn't get Raw in Canada until like 96. Late 96.
It was 95-ish.
Okay.
And it was the new VR that used to show it. It was basically turned into CTV Barry, but then it was known as the new VR.
Okay, so in small town Hickville, Ontario, TSN didn't get it until 96, 97.
Exactly. There was a time where both channels were showing it, but it's crazy to think that a local station out of Barrie showed Raw. Meanwhile, no one else could, or really should have at that time.
Should have is arguable. Actually, it's funny. I was just watching, Boris, a classic episode of Raw, one of the all-time greats, November 20th, 1995. Check out this card. So it's a 1 hour episode of Raw, 45, 46-ish minutes on the network. I suggest going to watch it. It's a really quick, easy watch. 1, 2, 3 Kid versus Hakushi. So one of their worst matches, sadly. It's heel 1, 2, 3 Kid, who's like newly turning heel, versus I guess a babyface Hakushi. Weird match. Skip versus Savio Vega is the second match. This match is interrupted by Diesel coming down to the ring and cutting a shoot promo. Diesel shoots hard on Vince McMahon, Boris. Basically, one of the first times that Vince McMahon is ever acknowledged as the owner of WWF on camera. And Diesel says, "You, Vince McMahon, you had me smiling. You tried to make me your corporate puppet. That's not me." And he goes on to basically a Stone Cold Steve Diesel rant. And it's like some people point to it as the unofficial start of the Attitude Era, although, again, it's November 1995, so that's a little early. But I think you could mark it as the end of the new generation era, at least, in whatever 95 to 97 starts right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like the I don't know what it was. It was a very awkward time in professional wrestling. Like, all joking aside, like they were trying new stuff every week. It seemed like literally throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what stuck.
Absolutely. And kind of to that point, so after this Kevin Nash promo, we get Owen Hart versus Shawn Michaels, November 20th, 1995. Do you know what happens in this match just by me saying that date?
No.
This is the famous Inzaguri
Oh,
concussion
I
angle
thought so.
where Shawn Michaels sells it like he's dead. They bring out an oxygen mask for this man. Vince McMahon gets in the ring again, looking like what is happening on my television show right now. They bring out all the referees. The match stops. The announcers shut up. Kevin Nash talks about this in numerous shoots where they put this together in the car. And the whole key to it was the announcers had to shut up. The announcers had to be quiet. And you see this all the time now. This has become a trope in wrestling when the announcers, to sell a big angle, don't say anything. But this is the first instance of that. And yeah, this is the first that I can remember anyway. I'm sure there's been instances of that before in wrestling, of course. But anyway, a classic episode of Raw, November 20th, 1995. And we're going to be celebrating the best of Monday Night Raw because sadly, Mike and Joe have to watch the worst of it every single week.
For the
Although
most
Raw's
part,
improved. I think it's improved a little bit.
a little bit. But no, that's awesome. Very cool. Love the gimmick. Raw, say what you want about the product now. None of us, most of us, not none of us, most of us wouldn't be listening to this show or other shows if it wasn't for that era.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. The Attitude Era. Well, I got into it in like the Hulk Hogan era, but the Attitude Era definitely is when a lot of people got hooked. It was definitely when it was the most popular. Daily topics at the schoolyard, fighting each other, saying "suck it" to teachers. It was a heck of a time. Boris.
I remember once I didn't even get in trouble because the teachers didn't believe that I would do this. It goes to show you. I did the suck it sign to someone. Then I even flowed them right onto a rock.
Oh no! Even though
Like the Raven DDT. And dude,
DDT to a
was
rock, yeah, man.
like bleeding, gushing blood.
Jesus, Boris,
Hard
you're
way.
a killer. You're a menace.
Yeah. Well, no.
Hard weight him, brother.
I hard weight him.
Oh my God. That's
Yep.
absolutely crazy. That is bananas, man. Well, you're supposed to be a safe worker out there, Boris. What are you doing? This garbage mud show outlaw GCW style of yours.
Oh man. All right, let's get to some sports because we like you said, it's the holidays. We're just getting off of Thanksgiving. You're getting off of cold. I'm getting off of whatever I did this weekend. And birthday weekend. Need I say more? All right, but let's just chat some MLB awards. Then I'm going to wrap up the F1 season with none other than Dan the Mouth Lovranski. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
And then we're going to chat
Yes.
some wrestling, but we're going to just kind of chat wrestling in general. We're going to get back to a regularly scheduled program next week with specific shows because there's a lot going on in Japan right now. World Tag League, World Junior Tag League, Bullet Club is dominating, Aussie Open. They're doing exactly what we said they were going to be doing. So we're going to kind of do some catch-up and reviews on that. We're going to be doing our regular Impact review next week and whatever happens over the next week because there's a couple big shows happening on December 10th, which we will be doing aftercasts for. Those are ROH and NXT. So that's going to be a good day. And yeah, we'll be back to a regular scheduled program next week. So let's just chat some MLB awards. I love these things because the debates. It's always a debate when award season for sports, right?
Absolutely. And yeah, awards, especially in baseball, I find, they used to in baseball lend themselves to more debate than they do now because statistics have become so precise that it's kind of hard to argue. Like, I feel like every award here is pretty much exactly what I would say. Although you could argue the National League Manager of the Year was not the right choice in the end, Boris.
Dude,
but yeah, no, looking at this list
you
up
can
and down,
even
this
make
is
the argument that they only look at regular season. Did you see that last quarter for the Mets?
Yes, exactly. So let's start there. Manager of the Year in the National League, Buck Showalter, Showalter, sorry, manager of the New York Mets. So yeah, it's a little dubious looking at it because while the Mets did win 101 games, they they kind of shot their pants down the stretch and then immediately lost in the playoffs and disappointed all of the Mets fans yet again. So yeah, it's a tough look, a bittersweet cherry on a shite Sunday for the New York Mets and their fans.
Yep, to say the least. But they won an award.
They got an award, buddy. They got an award. American League Manager of the Year, Terry Francona, manager of the Cleveland Guardians. I agree. Straight up. End of discussion. That's fair. That's right.
Hey, okay, here's the thing, though. Let's take a look at this. If Buck Showalter didn't win, I think, where was Roberts on the voting?
Oh, I actually don't have the voting here.
I forgot to bring that up.
Yeah.
I think he was second or third. I would have just cringed and I would have quit watching baseball.
You would have had a heart attack live on this podcast, and that would have been the end of Boris and the end of Bam and the end of you watching the Dodgers.
It would have just been after that.
Just the podcast. I would need to find another B and then like someone named Owen and then get Paul in, and that could be the Bop podcast. Anyway, Boris, moving on to the Rookie of the Year categories. You are disgusted with me right now.
I'm not sure if disgusted or overly proud.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We do too many podcasts. National League Rookie of the Year, Michael Harris II, Michael Harris II. Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like this is also well-deserved. What do you think about the National League?
19 home runs, 20 stolen bases, 4.4 offensive BWAR, 1.3 defensive BWAR. Dude, this guy dominated.
Yeah, it's true. The Atlanta Braves were sick. He was an impact player on the Atlanta Braves. He didn't show up until like basically the summer started, like basically June. He didn't show up, but he made an impact right away. Michael Harris too looks like a stud. And then in the American League,
one last note: he beat out Spencer Strider of the Atlanta Braves to win NL Rookie of the Year. So that's the 1-2 punch combo the Atlanta Braves had.
Yeah, worth noting. Yeah, the Braves have a sick future. They also have so many young players. Acuna obviously instantly comes to mind. Good pitching staff there in Atlanta. Sick team in Atlanta. Julio Rodriguez for the Seattle Mariners won the American League MVP. I feel like that's absolutely was never in doubt for a second. Led all rookies in home runs with 28. Was just a very fun player to watch the entire season. Breathed some life into the Seattle franchise that made the playoffs for the first time since fucking forever and a day.
Yep. The only player, along with Mike Trout, on both leagues with at least 25 home runs, 25 stolen bases, and an 800 OPS in the rookie season.
Wow. That's an interesting stat. That's awesome. Good for him. And that's a great company to be in. So yeah, then the big ones, the MVP and the Cy Young. So Cy Young, National League Cy Young, Sandy Alcantara of the Miami Mets. I had him in fantasy, so I would have fought somebody if this wasn't a unanimous Cy Young, which it was. He deserved this. Check out this stat. Not only did he lead the majors in innings pitched, 228 and 2/3 innings pitched, but he pitched 6 complete games, which is a lot nowadays, Boris. 6 complete games is more than any other team had combined this season. Sandy Alcantara had for the Miami Marlins. So he's a stud.
And it's crazy to think, as a rookie, they would allow him to do that in an era where pitch count and health and saving your arm and basically not allowing you to be the next Fernando Venezuela when you blow out your arm on a World Series winning year, right? Like, it's crazy to think that not 1, not 2, not 3, but 6 complete games.
Yes, yeah. Like you said, in this era, that's nothing to an older baseball fan, but he's more than every Major League Baseball team. So yeah, and the big thing is, like you said, he's technically like a rookie. He's like not experienced, but he's 27 years old. Like they're not waiting around. I can see why they're riding this horse. And someone like Alek Manoah, maybe you don't let him pitch 228 and 2/3 innings in the season anymore.
Exactly.
Although I'd still love to see it.
Oh, I would in a heartbeat. I would in a heartbeat. You know, you tell that to Nolan Ryan. I pitched 6 complete games. He's like, what, a week?
Exactly right. He pitched until he was 55. I don't know. That's not right. But anyway, speaking of old men pitching, the American League Cy Young winner Justin Verlander, 3 or more Cy Youngs, only the 11th pitcher ever to do that. He was incredible for the Houston Astros, who just signed Jose Abreu now. God damn it, Houston, grow up, give the rest of us a chance.
Yeah, don't be the David Hasselhoff and steal all the women.
What? Okay. But
he's a good-looking man.
Yet again, he is, I suppose.
He steals all the women the way that the Houston Astros steal all the good players.
I'm with you. I read you loud and clear,
let me explain this in another way. Go ahead.
Just 2 unanimous Cy Young winners, and who am I to argue?
We're no ones. Like,
yes.
But it just goes to show you. But here's the thing, right? And I always find this interesting. Like the Sandy Alcantara, the fact that he played for Miami didn't go against him. That's how dominant he was. And you know that there is a bias with the voters on who these players play for. And I don't mean that they don't like the team. It's they take a lot into consideration, like playoff probability and things like that, right? Like who did they face? Things like that.
Quite simply, and it's 2022, so people can watch anybody. And if you're actually doing your homework, you should be able to see anybody. But I bet you a lot of people who voted for Sandy Alcantara did not watch a lot of Sandy Alcantara. They just looked at his stats and knew, well, this guy's the winner. You know what I mean? But I bet you they didn't see a lot of them 228 and 2/3 innings, buddy.
Yes.
Yes. All right. National League MVP, 317 with 35 homers, 115 runs batted in. Paul Goldschmidt, first baseman for the St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, Bryce Harper had a case in the stretch a little bit, and obviously he was the MVP of the playoffs. But I feel like this is yet again the correct decision this year.
Agreed. He didn't get the Triple Crown, but he was close to it. He just dominated. He dominated this year. Yeah. I don't want to get into the American absolutely League.
Sick you. Yeah, American League. It was Aaron Judge. He was not unanimous, but was a landslide victory. 62 home runs, 131 RBIs. He did win the Triple Crown. He was crushing ball. I still think you can argue that it had to be Ohtani, or you could say fuck them both and go Vlad because it's a Toronto podcast and we're homers.
No, I don't know. This one, he got the Triple Crown, right? Like that's not an easy feat. No Joe Schmo is gonna get that, right? But I'm always under the impression that the MVP is this. If you remove them from the team, that team will not be as good. That team will be significantly worse off. I'm not sure if that's the case with the Yankees.
We might find out, buddy. We sure might find out next year if he plays for San Francisco or Los Angeles or Toronto or somewhere else. We're going to find out, actually. But I don't know. I think he is, by your criteria, I still think he is the MVP because I think the Yankees would be dog shit without him. They wouldn't be dog shit, but he would, they're getting older and he had a historic season which lifted them up a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. I just this is my issue. I'm that biased against the Yankees, like just flat out. So that's that.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. I kind of have a soft spot for the Yankees. We've talked about it before in this podcast. My uncle was a Yankees fan, so I kind of like them. I hate the Red Sox most of all. But yeah, when we refer to the Triple Crown for a new baseball fan or someone who doesn't give a shit at all, that's someone who led the league in all 3 of the following categories: batting average, home runs, and runs batted in. Those are basically the old metric of measuring a good baseball player. Those are the ones that you just kind of look at and know, like the old heads. But really, we have evolved to the point where on base percentage, slugging percentage, and wins above replacement, WAR, B-WAR, all this stuff that you were throwing out at us, Boris, we have evolved crazy in terms of statistics. Statistics. Anyway, Boris.
Speaking of stats, can you imagine if we still rated pitchers only on wins and losses?
Jesus Christ. No, I could have. Well, Sandy Alcantara probably wouldn't have been the Cy Young winner.
Exactly. Right? Like it's just so many more stats, and that's the one good thing about baseball. So that's why, like you said, right when we started this, the winners were kind of clean cut. There's not too much debate around them. Like last year, I guess you could have had a great debate between Ohtani and Vlad, right? But this year, I just feel like almost every category, at least on the players' side, was clear cut. But the NL Manager of the Year, oh man, come on.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like where was Roberts going to finish? Like, I think it's fair. The Manager of the Year in every sport in North America tends to go to the most improved team. It is basically the most improved team award, or like the shocking team award, right? And those are kind of the same thing when it comes to it. And it's the New York Mets this year. So this is exactly what I expected. You can laugh at it now because they flamed out of the playoffs while stumbling down the stretch. So it's like they were falling, and then they instead of like actually face planting, they just ran into a brick wall instead. So yeah.
Hey, remember when the Raptors had the Manager of the Year and they fired him right after he won it or before he won it?
Yeah, and then they like won a title right after.
So crazy. Like the ballsy moves that the Raptors have done to get that 2019 chip is insane. Like there should be a book written about that year.
We'll go down in history. Heck, I could write that book. I'd be willing to anyway. I went to the parade at the very least. But yeah, man, absolutely fucking incredible to have watched that. And Fred VanVleet just said it. I fully agree. If Kawhi would have stayed, Raptors would have three-peated. Absolutely would have three-peated. They would have treated Kawhi the way he wanted to be treated. Load managed him. They would have won 3 titles. Anyway.
What do they call load management now? What's the new term for it?
Do they have a new term for it?
There's a new term for it.
I don't even
There's a new term for it. I forget what it is. It's so funny, though. Anyways, we'll get back to everyone on that one. All right.
Yeah. Next week.
Probably not. All right. So that is the MLB Awards. Man, crazy to think that we're done for the season when it comes to baseball, but in a few weeks, months, weeks, whatever you want to say, we're going to be talking about all the changes to the rosters, the rules, spring training. I'm going to try to hit up spring training next season.
That'll be a lot of fun, man. Yeah, let me know. Maybe I'll try to join you if possible.
Dude, it is very fun.
That's awesome. And it's going to be a very exciting season next year. I forgot about the litany of rule changes. There's so many fucking things happening in baseball next year. Pitch clock and all kinds of fun stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun next year, big homie.
All right. So like I mentioned, let us chat. Let's wrap up the season of F1. But since my compadre over here doesn't really watch auto racing, doesn't know the difference between a clutch and a brake pedal.
Brake makes you stop.
Okay. I brought in Dan the mouth.
On the mouth.
Yeah, I brought on the mouth. We're gonna be chatting some F1.
My body's pressed into the seat. Fascination. Pipes are glowing in the heat. Am I the fastest one? Can I prove? Making your late run stood out the groove. Pole position. Among the top, prepared to win. Rising tension. The lights are set, the start begins. Smoking weed.
right there is called Formula One by Primal Fear. You guessed it. It is finally time for us to chat some F1 here on BAM. And I figured, well, I didn't figure. I was basically forced to bring our next guest onto the show. For many months. It's been months and months and months that we've been talking about this, but it's finally time. Now that the F1 season is over, It is perfect timing. And I have Dan the Mouth Lovranski on the line with me to chat some F1. Dan, how's it going?
I'm good. Yeah, this is great. I mean, I've never been a big sports guy, Boris, like really pro wrestling. And I got into F1 in the early 90s. And they're really the only two things that I still dig. And as you mentioned, to me, there's a definite connection between pro wrestling and Formula One.
There is. It's the larger than life characters, right? Like these drivers have spectacle. It's a spectacle. Every race is a spectacle. The drivers themselves are larger than life. Some of them are characters. Like currently, Danny Ricciardi, for example, right? That guy's a nut. I love that guy because of how crazy he is. He's such like a douchebag heel, but in a cool way, right? And I love that. We can look back at history, and there's so many drivers.
That's it. In fact, that's what brought me in.
Exactly.
I was working with this guy, and he was really, really into it, man. Talked about it all the time. And so a lot of times if I knew there was a race on the weekend, I would check it out and find out what the results were. And again, huge Ferrari fan. And at that point, when I started watching in the 90s, Ferrari was in the shitter. They were horrible at that point. They were way down the grid. And McLaren and Williams were ruling the day back then, which is funny because now they're at the back of the grid. But yeah, and I started to find out about Ayrton Senna, and I'm just like, this guy is Ric Flair of the F1 world. Yep. And it was everything that Ric Flair's character is, except real. Senna was a dick. He had real attitude. He had all those, when him and Elaine Proust were on the same team, and they had all those friggin' battles trying to take each other out in races and stuff like that. Like to me, he was the best heel. He was arrogant. He was rich guy, like rich beyond his means. Like, so once I kind of got into Senna's character, and at that time, most racing fans hated Senna. Yeah. They hated him. They hated not so much his skill, but again, the way he carried himself and the arrogance and all that shit. People hated him, whereas I'm like, this guy is the best. And then, yeah, like you said, I started to get into a lot of the other characters. Guys like team leaders, Eddie Jordan, Flavio Briatore, like these guys, they're amazing characters. And so many, like I was watching it when Martin Brundle was actually driving. When him and Blundell were actually driving for McLaren, like, and even, the other thing that totally, and even the older guys like James Hunt, amazing character, James Hunt. But the other thing too, that really hooked me, honestly, and we talk about this in wrestling too, and how important it is. We debate it almost every week when we watch the TV. Murray Walker, one of the best commentators of any sport of any kind in history. The way he embraced Formula One, and you can tell the thing that always makes a good announcer is there's that almost childlike love of what you're doing, and that was there with Murray. Murray, man, when the racing got exciting, Murray was like a little kid. Martin Brundle said he actually would have to have his hand on Murray's shoulder when they did commentary, and he'd have to put Murray back down in his seat and stuff like that. Like,
so similar to how Jason always has to calm you down back in the day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So it was, and I just thought I just loved Murray Walker. I just thought, and even the announcer is a character, and him and Brundle together. Well, him and James Hunt were friggin' great, but Brundle too. I mean, there's a reason Brundle is still doing commentary 20 years later, because he was always so good. Like him and Murray, to me, they were the team. They were just such a great team together. And when Murray would get super excited at the end of the race, and it was great. So
that's awesome. So you've been watching F1 for a really long time, and let's talk about the coverage of F1. Like back in the day, how hard was it to find the races?
Boris, it was super hard. It was super hard. You know what TSN used to do back then? And again, remember this, I'm watching before Jacques Villeneuve gets in too, right?
Yeah.
So freaking TSN, it was the worst. They might have a half-hour warm-up before the show, before the race. It would be hosted by Vic Rauter, who really, to me, knew nothing. It seemed like he knew nothing about Formula One. Curling was his friggin' strong suit. And they would put him on there, and it would just always be horrible. And then the race would finish, and that's it. Race would be done. Nothing on qualifying. Now, you know, after I started watching again a few years ago, now it's, I guess, because of the Driven miniseries and that, but the coverage now is the best.
It is.
The guys from Sky Sports in the UK are phenomenal. I love the way it's set up. I love the way they make use of old drivers. There's Damon Hill. There's David Coulthard. Johnny Herbert. Holy shit. Johnny Herbert. I friggin' love Johnny Herbert.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it when I saw him there a few races ago.
Yep.
I'm just, Jensen Button, all these guys. It's amazing. And the coverage is so good. I love the walk through pit lane.
I love that.
Like none of that stuff used to happen back in the day. So yeah, the coverage is, a gazillion times better. That's one of the things I actually enjoy now. I try to watch both the warm up and the afterward, the post show.
Yep.
Because it's you just get so much, and the team owners are really good too. Like Christian Horner, he's always out there talking to them and stuff, right? Like, it really wasn't kind of like it back when I first started watching. Some of those other guys, they were pretty secretive and stuff.
Yeah.
But the coverage is like a gazillion times better now. It's fantastic.
And that's exactly it, right? Like now we have all the qualifying. We have the pit lane interviews. We have the race. We have the post shows. They show F2. They show Formula E, for Christ's sake now. Like they show so much.
You know what though? TSN always did kind of show that stuff, but you had to search to find it.
Exactly.
It would get played at 3 a.m. Oh, the F100 race on at 3 a.m. Okay, whatever,
Hey, just to remember, wrestling and Raw used to be on at midnight on TSN, right? If at all.
Very true.
So, yep. So if anything, most of our listeners are used to searching for whatever sport they want to watch. But yeah, so you started watching way back then. My story is I actually started watching in the late 90s. So I followed IndyCar first. That was kind of like the first racing league I found. If you had asked me at that age, what's the difference between Indy and F1 and anything else, I honestly thought it was all the same. So I started with IndyCar, and Jacques Villeneuve was the man. This is when Jacques Villeneuve won the.
So this is after he was done in Formula One.
It was before he started in.
Oh, that's
IndyCar.
right. He was in Indy first. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
So he won the Indy 500, and then he went to F1 a couple years later. So I followed him. I just followed his career, and that was that. Then he won the championship in F1, and that's when Fernando Alonso started becoming like the dominant racer. So I kind of continued with that.
Who is still driving today?
Yes, right.
Like that freaks me out. That guys like Fernando Alonso are still, and we had the retirement, the final race of Sebastian
Vettel. Yep.
On the weekend, which that was pretty emotional because he was another guy I always liked. From watching his whole come up and and that, like, yeah, amazing. Yeah, Alonso was in his prime at Ferrari. He was great.
Oh, he was great. He was insane good. I remember going to Paris. This is when he was with Renault. This was back in 2006.
Yeah,
and I literally found where they were, like the museum, the F1 museum.
Nice.
Of his constructor. Just to take a picture with his car. It's one of my prized pictures of that first trip to Europe back in 2006.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to love it when they would do stuff like that because I went to the race several times in Montreal. Yeah. When Jacques was racing in F1, me and my buddy were going almost every year. And yeah, I used to love that they'd have the old cars out for you to check out and stuff like that. I used to love that stuff. Again, my buddy was such a fan of Minardi as well. He got his picture with Minardi's car. He was so happy. It's unbelievable stuff like that. And while we're on the cars, just again, the changes I have seen since 1990 to now, it's like, wow. It's like the stuff, and much of it is for the better. Like that little roll bar in front of the face.
But
like
the Halo
I'm
system.
Guessing, I'm guessing, that's something that kind of comes out of, I'm guessing the Senna accident, because Senna, that's how he passed away in that race, and the rod from the front wheel went right through his helmet, right through his head.
Yep.
And I think that was one of the innovations that came out of that. But yeah, and just the look always changes, man. Look at some 70. Look at the friggin' Formula One cars in the 30s and 40s. Where there are these giant open cockpits with a giant steering wheel. They're probably not even wearing helmets.
They're literally wearing like the old school pilot glasses
it's
and like a beret.
It's so insane. Watch some old races, man. Yeah. It's crazy.
And like even the colors, right? Like if you look at like the matte finishes these cars have, they're just marvelous. Like absolutely just engineering marvels. I love them so freaking much. So it sounds like, you took a break from watching F1 for a little bit. What got you back into it?
Well, I see what took me out is during the Schumacher era, when Michael Schumacher, who a lot of people think is the greatest driver ever, I'm sticking with Senna or James Hunt, one or the other. But when he was at Ferrari, they just got so good and they dominated so much. Like there was one season where I remember we were literally just a little bit past halfway and he had wrapped up the championship already. Yeah. And it just got to, like, they just dominated so much that it got boring. It got boring for me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to bother with this anymore. And I would kind of keep an eye on it. Like I would see stuff in the news and might watch a race here and there. But it wasn't really until, I don't know, that when Hamilton really started to come on strong in that. And then I started to watch it a bit more. And then within the last year or two, just because so many of my friends or people that still watched it kept telling me, you got to watch now. You got to watch now. It's really competitive now. It's super competitive. And it is. It is. It very much is. I mean, and a lot of that stuff, they finally figured out things that took tens of years. Like the DRS situation took forever to get worked out. Like right around the time when I stopped, they had that stuff, but they never seemed to know whether they're going to keep it. The rules were changing all the time. They didn't seem to know when to use it. Now I like that it's there, and it's like, okay, on this part of the track, depending on which track, you can use it. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense, right? And it's really helped. I mean, because the big thing in Formula One too is you have to have overtaking, right? Yes. And on some of these courses, like stuff like Monaco, you don't have a lot of chances to overtake. Exactly. And so stuff like the DRS and that has made those things happen. And this year I saw some spectacular racing. There was some amazing passes, great plays, guys pulling off stuff you didn't think they could do, turns, overtaking in places where you wouldn't think you could overtake. Yep. And stuff like that. So it's it's exactly like sometimes the beginning of the races have like the first like 3 laps is so intense, so much going on, and in the first lap you can't even use DRS, but because everyone is just jumbled together and all of these cars are similar, at least to begin the race, right? A lot the winning they've
cars,
all got the same amount of fuel, right?
Exactly.
No pit stops anymore. Like when I started, it was the full-on pit stop era. I saw some crazy pit stop stuff through the years. Guys running over one of the mechanics in the pits, or fires, or that's why eventually they just said, okay, enough of this. There was just too much dangerous stuff happening with the fuel. But it's amazing. And I think when people started to tell me it got more competitive. And you know what else I thought was really cool is I was hearing about the sons of the guys that I watched.
Yes.
I'm like, oh,
Carlos Sainz Jr., right? Like you're seeing some of these guys. Verstappen, yeah.
Raikkonen. There was someone else's kid too.
We even have Schumacher's kid right now.
Yes. Oh, tell me though, not like his dad at all.
Not at all.
I don't know if he's just got stuck in a bad car.
He's with Haas, right? Like,
but man, he's nothing. He's nothing like his dad. Like, not even slightly. I mean, his dad. I didn't like how much he dominated, but I got to give it to the guy. He was friggin' an amazing driver. And Ferrari, that was really, did Ferrari have another time as great as that in their history?
No.
Like, that was amazing.
But Ferrari's coming back. Like this year, Red Bull won the constructors.
Yes.
Ferrari number 2, Mercedes
and
number
Ferrari
3.
was close. They were close, right?
Yep, very close.
Yeah.
Very close.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. See, now it's at a point. Verstappen's won 2 years in a row, and I'm like, Mercedes, and he won again. He won with, there was 3 or 4 races after he'd already secured the championship.
Yep.
So I don't want it to get to that era. I don't want to see Mercedes just dominate. So it's good to see Ferrari coming back, and it looks like, maybe next year they could actually be an actual challenger for these guys. Or sorry, I didn't mean Mercedes. I mean Red Bull.
Red Bull.
I don't want to see Red Bull. I don't want to see any one team dominate, right?
But that's the thing. I know a lot of people that got out of F1 when Lewis Hamilton was absolutely dominating for a few years, right? Like, it was crazy. He would literally win.
It gets boring, right?
Exactly.
It's boring. You want to see competition. You want to see these guys be able to compete with each other, and you want to really know who is the best driver, right? Who does have the best car and stuff like that. But it's back to the point now where I find it really intriguing. There's enough cool characters in it, and there's enough competition to really make it interesting.
Yep, exactly. And it's funny because like a lot of my friends are getting it, like random people who I never would have thought would ever watch F1, including the post guys, right? And it's all thanks to Netflix's Drive to Survive.
I got an email from Pollock, and I couldn't. Yeah, he's like, "Oh, me and Way are really into Formula One now." I'm like, "What?" And yeah, you're right, because they both watch Driven. You know what? I have watched none of it, but I don't need to because I already knew once I heard, like we said earlier, that it was starting to get competitive, then I just got back into watching it. But I didn't see any of Driven. But isn't that really says something, that when something like that presented in such a way that it draws somebody in who would under any other circumstances could care less.
Yeah. That's the power of reality TV, right? Like, that's the crazy part. That's why people say, like, WWE and AEW, why do they do these shows? This is why. This is how you get the casual fan into wrestling.
Yeah.
This is how you get the casual fan into sports, into motor racing. Who watches motor racing outside of, like, you really have to have a good reason.
The guys that want to see the crashes, Boris. Come on. There's that contingent, especially in NASCAR.
Yeah.
They just want to see everybody go into the wall, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that part of it. But but that's true of any sport, though, Boris. Come on. I mean, characters help any sport, right? Basketball, baseball, football, anything, right? You gotta have personalities. That's why people always make me laugh when they're hung up on, like, oh yeah, but it's a sport. And like, well, yeah, it's a sport, but ultimately it's entertainment, and you want some of your players in your sport to have some personality, right?
Exactly. And that's the beauty of F1.
Although I have to say, though, in F1, maybe because it's Europeans and stuff, but I also love the stone face. Like, really, Verstappen's kind of a stone face. Like, he's just like, yes. Like he used to kill me. Oh, who used to do it? Someone used to do it, man. And no matter what would happen in the race, and they'd go, yes, very good race. Team worked very well. Like, and Verstappen, he's kind of like that, right?
Yeah, he is for interviews. But you hear him over the radio, and he's got character. He's a douchebag over the radio. I love it.
That's true. The radio, that is one of the coolest innovations, having the radio like that, because here's the guy stripped down in the heat of the moment. Look, the Hamilton ones are always great, right? He just he gets so wound up and loses, but it's intense. You're going, 250 miles an hour, and it's pretty intense for a straight hour, strapped in this thing, sweating to death, probably going to drop 5 pounds by the end of the race.
Yep.
Like, it's pretty intense, but that's when you see the real guys come out, is on the radio.
Yep, I love it. Like, it's so much fun. And my favorite part about the radio is when the teammates start fighting with each other, which we've been seeing a lot of in Ferrari. We've been seeing it even in Red Bull. Like, there's a lot of fighting going on right now between teammates, and it just adds to that intrigue that you're not going to get in the Netflix series anytime soon, right?
Yeah, it's got to be hard for guys like, Perez. When your guy's the top guy, he's won the championship, he's helped win the Constructors' Championship for your team. It's got to be hard when you're the teammate of a guy like Verstappen or something like that. Look at Ferrari when Schumacher was in there. I think almost every teammate he had an issue at one point or another, right? Because they just wouldn't get what Schumacher would get. It's like, no, sorry, no.
Well,
that's obviously going to be annoying because it's like, well, if you don't give me what he's got, how can I perform,
Yeah, but it's kind of ironic sometimes because, like, let's take Daniel Ricciardo, for example. He left Red Bull when Max Verstappen was coming up the ranks, and everyone knew that Verstappen was going to become the number one driver. So Ricciardo left. Now he's come back next season, made official today as the third driver.
Wait a minute. He's the test driver, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's coming as the third driver.
That means nothing. Boris, he's going to be the test driver.
I know, but the irony is he won't be number 2, but he'll happily be number 3.
Wow. A lot less pressure on number 3, right?
Well, you know what? He gets to drive in F1. He'll do the occasional race here and there, and he's making a shit ton of money. So
he just needs to do more of those ads for Heineken.
Yes.
Dude, I have seen that ad 900 times, and I like it every single time I see it. I love that ad.
Oh, it's a good one. It's a great one.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's very interesting. And yeah, actually, because I'm sorry, I'm not up to speed. What other? Because they mentioned a couple other driver changes, I think, didn't they?
There are a few. I'm just trying to bring them up. Give me one.
Is there new kids coming in too? Isn't there? I thought a couple of the lower end teams were bringing in new kids.
Yeah, so there are some major changes.
Because I thought they showed a couple in the pits during the race or something. But that is cool about, Daniel going to be the third driver at Red Bull. I mean, I want to see, does he get to do an actual race? Probably not, eh?
It depends, right? Like if Perez isn't available to race, or if Perez, or if what's his name?
One of them.
Mr. Jerry Halliwell. What's his name? The guy that's married to the Spice Girl, the lead in Red Bull.
The lead driver?
No, the director.
Oh, Christian Horner?
Yeah, that's it. If he gets pissed off at Perez, he'll easily just put Ricciardo in for a race.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I can see them doing it. I mean, it just seems like such a step down for him to go to a test driver or, third driver position.
Yeah. But again, what is he going to do, right? Go to Indy?
Yeah.
Do NASCAR?
Oh, he might. Well, hey, even Jock did NASCAR, so.
Yeah, you're right. But we'll see exactly. But I'm having a hard time finding exactly what the changes are. We'll have to do a full preview.
Yeah, we should because it's only. Do you know what's so crazy too? That's the other thing, Boris. When I started watching it, season was not this long.
Oh, I know.
Season was like, we didn't have all those Middle Eastern races and stuff like that. Season was usually done, October, I think, not November.
Yeah.
And I think, didn't they say on the weekend, it's like 105 days. It's like nothing until the season starts again in March.
Yeah, exactly. And it's early March when it starts up again.
I think it's first weekend of March.
Is. Yep, which is probably the Revolution weekend. But the crazy part about this is how many races there are, right? Like I think there's like
it's insane.
Up to 26 almost.
It's insane. I think there was less than 20 when I first started.
Yep.
It's insane.
Next year they're adding the Las Vegas race. It's going to be a night race.
Another race?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
In Vegas. Well, they've tried for years to break so hard. And, they tried for years and years to do races in the States, and it just wouldn't catch on because in the States, there's got to be an American driver in it or they don't care, right?
The reason, so this is the thing, right? Like, because of the Netflix show, the races in the States have been steadily getting better in terms of attendance and gates and all that, right? So I think that they're clearly seeing something. And Vegas, because it's a destination, they're assuming that people are just going to swarm to Vegas.
Right. Yeah. Well, I could think of worse ways to spend a weekend.
Right? Exactly. Can be stuck, I don't know, in New Jersey.
The only thing, I'd like to go to Montreal again, but it's just not the same. Like when I first started going there, you could buy a general admission ticket, and there were certain parts on the track where you could just take a lawn chair and your cooler and you could just sit right down. There was this one hill that used to be perfect. It was on kind of a corner, so the cars even kind of slowed down. And just everybody would go to this hill, and like, so you'd have all these great people. Everybody's into it. Everybody's partying, having a good time. Like, it used to be great. But then after a few years, and it started to get more popular, they fenced all that stuff off and, you know, turned it into regular seats and that. And it's a shame.
Yeah. The same's happened the Toronto Indy, right? Like, there used to be some awesome general admission tickets and views. And now they don't exist.
There's one part in Montreal, I'm not sure what part of the track it is, but we used to go there every time because it's the one part of the track where the cars sound the loudest. And we would stand there when they'd go by. And honestly, the sound was so loud that it was physical. Like, you felt something going in the one ear and out the other. Like, it had an actual physical presence in your head because it was so loud.
I love that so freaking much.
I know, it was great. It was great.
That's a great feeling.
It is a great sound to hear the engines. And when you're there at the track, you can tell, you know, some of them sound different than others. You can see notice little things about how they sound. Like, they really are different and stuff like that. So, it's pretty amazing.
All right,
what about one more thing? What about the Canadians that are in there? Like, are we going to ever see anything out of these guys? Like, Stroll's been in there, 2 or 3 years now,
He's been there a while now, and he's kind of like, what place did he finish in? Let me take a quick look. He finished in 15th.
Yeah, he's way down there. But he's not in a great car either.
No. He's not at all. He's with Aston Martin, and then Williams has Latifi, right? So,
right, yeah.
Again, not the best.
Yeah, it is really amazing how dynasties can change the way they do. Like, the Ferrari's always been up and down. And honestly, back when I started, man, Williams especially, well, McLaren too, though, they were really almost side by side. And man, they were seen as like, no one comes close to these guys. You know, they dominated so much. And just to see them now, you know, at the back of the grid, they mean nothing. I'm just like, man, Frank Williams must be spinning in his grave. I don't know. It's got to be pretty. It's just so bizarre. And, you know, is that going to happen? Will that eventually happen to Red Bull? Will that eventually happen to Mercedes? Like, it's, you know, or will the teams themselves just disappear altogether? Like, that's the other thing. Even if Williams and McLaren are at the bottom, they've been around a long time.
Yep.
You know, there's tons of other teams like Jordan, Benetton, Minardi. They're gone, right?
Yeah,
they're gone.
There's a lot. Or they've merged, or Renault. Like, there's a lot. Like, there's change. I'm finding every 5-6 years, there seems to be major changes in the constructors.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
All right, Dan. Well, it's been honestly a pleasure chatting some F1. So glad that we finally got to do this.
Yeah. Well, anytime you guys want me to, I can't help you with anything else, but if you want to talk some F1, I'll definitely pay attention this year and watch as much as I can. So anytime you guys want to do anything, let me know.
We'll for sure do a season preview. I think that'll be the next time we chat. We'll know all the new racers. We'll all know all the new cars, the new car designs.
And it's only 100 days away anyways.
Exactly. All right, Dan. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for joining.
Take care, Boris. Yep.
All right.
Later.
All right. So I want to thank the mouth for that. It's crazy to think, again, just like baseball, that in a few weeks we're going to be talking about, you know, the new teams, the new drivers, the new rules, the new cars. I love when they do this huge event for car reveals. You know, it's kind of cool. It's kind of like the uniform reveal for other teams.
That's interesting. And they make a big event of it.
Yeah.
Big like ceremony.
Absolutely disinterested as you talk about that.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. I don't know. I don't want to be harsh in my disregard for this, but yeah, I'm not a car
it's
guy.
Not your thing.
You know
exactly. You're not Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Exactly right, buddy.
Full circle. That's how we do. All right, chat some wrestling.
More of a last man standing myself. Okay, can we talk about last week's Dynamite for just a hot second?
Oh, we Let's. I'm getting comfortable.
Man, okay. Strap in, buddy. Okay, the main event was incredible. First of all, Jericho bladed his chest. I'm certain of that. I'm quite certain. I'm like 95% sure. I think you could see a clear blade mark. I think Chris Jericho bladed his chest.
Let me cut my nails and let me slap you 10,000 times, and let's see how the cuts look.
It's possible. Anyway, regardless of how Chris Jericho's chest got so bloody, Jericho versus Ishii was incredible. It was just a wild TV match, all-time stuff. It will be on our list at the end of the year. So I can't shit on this Dynamite too much because it did give us an incredible match, as Dynamite is wont to do. AEW will give you an incredible match almost every single week, right? We got to say that off the hop before I just bury AEW deep into the ground.
Of course. When it comes to in-ring, sometimes we get the best of the best.
So you're telling me that you're going to sign Jeff Jarrett, Boris? You're going to sign Mr. fucking Slap Nuts himself on a roster where you should be pushing Eddie Kingston, you should be pushing Keith Lee, you chased away Cody Rhodes, arguably, you chased away Andrade, you chased away CM Punk, you should be pushing Pac better, you should be pushing Rey Fenix better. Lee Moriarty is deep under the ground. Daniel Garcia has been absolutely forgotten after all of his momentum. You should be pushing everybody on this roster better. You've signed Jeff Jarrett, and you had him lose, and now he's going for the tag team titles. Jeff fucking Jarrett's on TV every week being tough. Really? This is why I stopped watching WCW. This is why I stopped watching TNA, and we're doing it in 2022. Really? That's what we're doing?
Yeah.
We're doing Jeff Jarrett?
Yep, Jeff Jarrett with the youngster, Jay Lethal.
I don't mind Jay Lethal, but you're right. You're not wrong about that. We're still pushing Ring of Honor hard. Ring of Honor, like, if people wanted to watch Ring of Honor, they would have watched Ring of Honor. God bless them. They didn't. That's why it fucking died. Am I wrong? Like, what are we doing here anymore? Like, man, so much happened on Dynamite. The 6-man tag, Kenny Omega comes out and says this thing where it's not CM Punk versus the Elite. We're not going to feud with CM Punk. We're just going to put it behind us. And then they spend the entire match making fun of CM Punk. And what Kenny Omega did, honestly, was like, it wasn't that bad. If Kenny hadn't have said that, I wouldn't have batted an eye at it. What Matt Jackson, his like fall on his ass after the lariat, that doesn't help the match at all. Oh man, Dave Meltzer made this point. It doesn't help the match at all. That's just being a petty dick. You could say, well, it happened in picture or whatever, but like, I don't know, like, people watching it on Fight saw it live. It's just, we're in a universe, man, where CM Punk is back on his couch and the Young Bucks are dunking on CM Punk not being there. And every wrestling fan has been dunking on CM Punk for 3 months. I'm just at the point where I'm starting to feel bad for Punk. And more than that, as a fan of CM Punk, I'm just sad. I just wish it worked out a different way. It just sucks that I'm watching AEW with the Young Bucks making fun of Punk, who's up there, who's my favorite, and Jeff fucking Jarrett in the tag team title picture versus the Acclaimed, who I'm also over, but I don't want to shit on the Acclaimed because they work really hard, and I respect their gimmick, and I actually listen to Max rapping every week, and I love his raps, but I'm just kind of done with the Acclaimed too. Like, I'm just over that group. We've seen it. They're very one note. FTR is nothing. Why is Jeff Jarrett fighting the Acclaimed for the tag team titles? Why are the Young Bucks just making fun of CM Punk falling in a match? Like, cool, guys. This is just, I don't know. What has happened to my AEW, Boris? I used to be such an AEW fanboy. I used to love that product. Every Dynamite, appointment viewing, most rampages, a lot of darks and elevations. I wouldn't miss a show. Now I'm fast forwarding everything. I probably wouldn't have watched all of Full Gear if not for our podcast. Like, I'm not completely over it because they still do Jericho versus Ishii. And as a wrestling fan, you got to respect it. But holy Christ, they've lost the plot in AEW. I'm officially scared for AEW. I officially feel like they've lost the plot. Jeff fucking Jarrett. Are you kidding me? Ah!
And MJF wasn't on the show, not even on a pre-tape.
Oh, my Lord in heaven. He is your world champion. I don't even care if he's on a movie, which obviously he was. I think that mostly explains his absence. But I bet you that Tony Khan didn't book him because he knew the rating was going to be shit because it was Thanksgiving Eve and he didn't want to pin it on MJF, which I guess I understand. But I think Tony Khan cares about the wrong things, such as overthinking MJF stuff like this. Like, get a pre-tape of your world champion on the show, or Jeff Jarrett. Arg. Anyway, I don't know, man. What's happened to my AEW? What happened to my dub?
Brawl out happened. That's what happened.
Yeah, it's sad. And I guess it's like CM Punk is the one who went out there and acted a fool, as we used to say in 2002. So, like, I guess I have to blame CM Punk. But I don't know. I just think it's wrestling. Like, I think we can all get over it and move on. And I wish AEW was cool. AEW used to be cool. And it's like, I don't think wrestling's not cool. Like, it's not like AEW was this, like breakneck, awesome, young, cool thing. It was hip and now it's not. Wrestling hasn't been cool for years. But there's like a certain aspect to AEW that's gone. You know what it is? It used to feel like the young guys would get a chance in AEW, and now it feels like Jeff Jarrett gets a chance in AEW.
That's exactly it, right? That's the part that I'm just very confused with, right? After so many years of saying the right things, it's not panning out the way that they claimed it would, right? I think the reality of trying to produce a weekly TV show week over week is really starting to get to them. Not in a bad way, but like, what do we do next? What do we do next?
I think you're right, and it leads to Jeff Jarrett tag team champion contender.
I also think that the injuries have also put a major wrenches because, we all know AEW, long-term storytelling, right? I think injuries have proven that you can't plan too far ahead.
Or at least you need to be more flexible, more malleable, and have plan B, C, D ready to go. I think you're 100% correct on that, but we do need to acknowledge injuries have hurt AEW greatly. Adam Cole not being there alone has hurt greatly. You'd be on the show every week and you'd be doing something I liked. So,
yep, that's exactly it, right? Now, we're not trying to dunk too hard on AEW. Like, we both still love the product. It's just like, this is the reality of the situation, and this is where we're at right now. It's not sunshine and rainbows and lollipops like back in 2019.
Outside of Jericho Ishii, which was great. So I guess I can't say this, but for the first hour and 45 minutes, last week's Dynamite was my least favorite Dynamite ever, by a wide margin too. Like, it was the one that I was the most angry at watching. The only one that I was ever angry at watching,
Yeah, it was just not that great of a show, right? And a lot of people share your opinion, right? And we'll see, man. Like, again, I want nothing but the best. Having AEW is amazing for many reasons. The more competition, the better. AEW is great. We get great in-ring. We can fill our top 121 or 122 of 22 because of AEW.
Absolutely, yeah. There's going to be, there might be 60 AEW matches. There might be half AEW. Like, I am at the end of the day still a fanboy, but I was just yeah, no,
it's hard.
I can't believe where they're at right now. I just can't believe it. Why is this the universe we're living in? It sucks. I hate it.
Yeah,
I want to go back.
Right? Let's go back. Bring Cody back and let's call it a day.
Right, exactly. That's what we need. Cody versus Shaq. Do it. Book it, Tony.
Remember when that was the biggest issue we had?
Oh, man. Shaq just disappearing. Where did he go? Nobody knows. He's not in that ambulance. I'll tell you that much, Boris. He went right back to TNT, right back to the panel, dunking on Barkley.
I was literally going to say dunking on Barkley. All right. Let us chat. Are you done with AEW?
Yeah, I'm done. I still like it. I'll still be watching, but I'm probably not going to watch live on Wednesday. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as long as you watch it. So there was no Impact. It was a best of show. So we're just going to chat some Survivor Series. Survivor Series, what did you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up. Overall, thumbs up. A couple good matches. I would say, I don't know. I'd say one great match and one great moment in the main event. I don't know if I call the men's War Games match great. I would say for sure one great match. Let's go through the card briefly, kind of review it, give some star ratings, kind of just shoot the shit about it.
Exactly. So the first match was the women's War Games match. Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, and Mia Yim versus Bayley, Io Sky, Dakota Kai, Nikki Cross, and Rhea Ripley.
So this was a weird one, sloppy match. At the end of the day, I would think it was good, but if you want to tell me this was a terrible match, I don't think I would kick that opinion out of bed. 39 minutes and 40 seconds. God bless Io Sky. This is one of the worst nights I've ever seen her have in a wrestling ring. She's usually so fantastic. I thought she, like a lot of people, were a little bit off.
I think the issue with these women's specialty matches is that they completely predetermine move by move, blow by blow. So when it comes time to them to actually perform it, sometimes it's a little awkward because they have to remember, what do I have to do next? What is next? And I kind of feel like that's what happened with Io Sky, because there were times like even arm drags. It looks like she was just a step behind where she should be or something of the like. And she looked really off, right? Like, I think that, you know, we know, like, look at their Royal Rumble matches. They practiced them the night before and stuff, right? Like, so I think that it was just overly booked for some of these women.
You might be right. It definitely has that feel. And when someone is a step slow or perhaps forgets something, like the whole thing falls apart.
And that's the thing. It feels like a good match. It could be a good match. But if what you're planning to do, or for lack of a better term, choreograph to do next, and it doesn't work out, well, the entire routine goes from a 10 to a 6 to a 2 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And it's more of a 6 than a 2. Like,
yes.
let's not bury them too hard. At the end of the day, like 40 minutes of 10 women working hard, hitting each other hard. The finish was spectacular. This was a good match, but it was like, I would say 3 eliminations, 3 stars out of 5, 60% kind of match, you know? Good.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So that was that. So, yeah, how would you rate it?
Yeah, 3, I would say 3 out of 5. 3 eliminations, 3 War Games. The next match was AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. This should have been where you slotted a traditional Survivor Series match. I would have just added a partner to Gallows and Anderson and AJ and had them face Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Dominic Mysterio. But they didn't want to do that. I don't understand why, but whatever.
Too many long matches.
It didn't even have
maybe?
to be. I guess so. But this match still went 18 minutes and 25 seconds, according to Wikipedia. Like this was it was a good wrestling match. I felt like if AJ Styles would have wrestled Finn Balor in New Japan in 2017, it would have been much better, you know?
It felt slower. It felt like a slower paced match where they were trying to tell more of a story than trying to do what we know they both can do. That's what this match felt like. It wasn't a bad match, but I feel like there was a better match in some universe.
Exactly right. Yeah. So again, I would say 3 stars, 3 eliminations out of 5. You couldn't call it a bad match by any means, and I wouldn't want to, but it's not going to stick with me into next month, next week, or past the end of this sentence.
Just like the next match, which was for the SmackDown Women's Championship, Ronda Rousey with Shayna Baszler versus Shotzi.
I don't often say this, and like I think Ronda Rousey's underrated. Shotzi, we watched her in NXT nearly kill herself every fucking week. I hate to say it, this match sucked. It was just bad.
This is bad.
They didn't click.
It was sloppy. They had no chemistry. It felt like it went. How long was this match? It was
7 minutes and 15 seconds. According to Wikipedia.
7 minutes, 12 seconds too long.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, it felt like 15. It was not the best. So we on the BAM program here, we try to go like we give them 2 stars if it was a good effort. I don't even think I could do that. This was a singular star match. We're gonna go a single elimination for this one. 1 out of 5.
All right.
The next match was the best match of the show. This could contend for our year-end list. I don't think it will make it, but the last 4 or 5 minutes of this match were spectacular. This is a really, really good triple threat match for the United States title. Austin Theory defeating Seth freaking Rollins and Bobby Lashley. Austin Theory wins after Lashley spears Rollins out of a Falcon Arrow. So Seth Rollins has Austin Theory up basically in a vertical suplex position. Bobby Lashley spears Seth Rollins, which causes Austin Theory to land on the top of his head like a Tomohiro Ishii brainbuster gone awry, and then somehow Austin Theory pins Rollins out of that, which I thought was funny, but it was just kind of not a botch, but just the way he ended up landing looked like an aggressive brainbuster to Austin Theory, which caused Austin Theory to win the United States Championship in 14 minutes and 50 seconds. Still the match on the show. I thought this was pretty great, all things considered.
It was really good. Seth Rollins looked amazing in this match. Lashley looked great. Loving Austin Theory's new character. Is Seth Rollins going to graduate and challenge Roman Reigns next?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, is he going to graduate from Chase University? Yes. Seth, no, he will not. I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe. There's word on the internet that there's beef between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. I thought it was going to be Owens versus
what happened
Roman
that night. I think everything was fine.
Yes.
I think that was the overall story from Fightful.
Yes. So, okay, we briefly touch on it. Let's kind of talk about it. So, Fightful has reported that I guess there was an unplanned spot that Kevin Owens did, which may have ruptured Roman Reigns' eardrum, and Roman Reigns was apparently pissed about it backstage. That is obviously all hearsay. I hate to even talk about it on that podcast because I hate talking about that kind of stuff, but we brought it up. So that's what we're talking about. I don't know if that's true, but if it is true, are we going to get Kevin versus Roman at the Royal Rumble, which I kind of thought they were building towards based on this War Games match?
Agreed. Could be Seth. Who knows? But either one of those two I will take.
Yeah. I don't know what you do with Seth other than who's due to come back pretty soon, Boris.
No, but we've seen this match 1,001 times.
Okay, but my counter to your point, and you're totally correct, friend. We've seen this match too much. My counter argument is adrenaline, fucking imbecile, skibbity bop Cody Rhodes. Sorry.
Again, we've seen that match too many times.
But seen the match 1,000 times again.
But there is a story to be told to end this story, right? Like after TLC, he being Seth Rollins took out Cody Rhodes for good.
Seth has to win. Seth needs a win over Cody at some point.
For the championship in 10 years.
Oh, in 10 years. I love it. That's some long-term Tony Khan for your ass.
All right, that's that. Let's talk about the main event, the Bloodline. Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Solo Sikoa, and Sami Uso versus Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Kevin Owens, Butch, and Rich Holland.
Okay, first, 4 stars for the triple threat. 4 adrenalines in my soul. Scoobity beep beep. Cody Rhodes is out of 5. So yeah, the War Games match, Bloodline versus Brawling Brutes, featuring Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens. It's a War Games match. It's going to be like 35-40. It just felt like at some points they were always working hard, but it wasn't. Blood and Guts was so violent. It was so much action all the time and so much going on. This was kind of just a WWE style. This felt like a PG War Games. That's what it felt like to me.
Literally what it is.
That's literally what it was. That's literally what it was. So Sami Zayn standing tall at the end, finally getting the approval of the Usos, Jey Uso specifically, obviously, was a really nice touch. I loved the end of this match, but the 34 minutes getting there, it was hit and miss a little bit.
Yep. Agreed. But overall, I think it told a very good story. I think it really, like you said, it kind of set up Kevin Owens as next challenger. It adding layers to the Sami Zayn because everyone thought this was going to be where, Sami Zayn gets Batista out of Evolution. Like, there was a lot of possibilities in this match, but it seems like all is good in the bloodline for now.
I feel like, honestly, the Roman Reigns stuff is going so well. Like, he's so over and he's doing such good work. Sami Zayn has added such a nice touch to this group, and they probably have no idea what to do with the bloodline after. So that's why they're kind of delaying this. Although I do think by WrestleMania, we're going to see Sami Zayn and KO win the titles over the Usos. That seems to be the plan.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I can see that being the route that they go. And I think WWE just answered my question. Austin Theory's out right now on a promo on Raw, and Seth Rollins comes out.
There you go. So they're going to continue going for at least 1 week. So yeah, here's my prediction. We should wrap it up like this. I would say two things: 3 3/4 for this match. I think is fair. Not great, but very good.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 3/4 eliminations. Let's go with it.
Sorry.
Very good. Yeah, no, I was just
continue.
yeah. All right. Second thing, we should do a little mini pool. When does the bloodline turn on Sammy? When does the turn happen? I'm saying SmackDown after Royal Rumble, off the top of my head.
SmackDown after Royal Rumble. How much time is between Elimination Chamber in Montreal and WrestleMania? It's going to happen in Montreal. It's going to happen in Montreal.
They're going to turn on Sammy in Montreal. Oh my God. Oh my God. Ah, the bloodline. There might be a riot. Oh, it's going to be so
piss good. Montreal off when it comes to sports.
They've rioted for less. Well, arguable.
Can you imagine?
That's how good the turn is.
Roman Reigns and the rest of the bloodline standing over a bloody Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in Montreal.
It would be so amazing. Yeah, Roman Reigns loses one of the titles to Cody in Montreal, and then Sami Zayn caused it. So Roman just absolutely destroys Sami in Montreal. Could you imagine? That's how it goes.
Book it.
I mean, I'm going to book it right now. Anyway, so yeah, those are the Survivor Series star ratings. What do you think? You think it's Montreal? Obviously, you're locking that in. I think you won me over, buddy. It's got to be Montreal.
It has to be Montreal. It's the last stop before WrestleMania.
God damn. The story writes itself. Let's go. But this is... We have to give credit where it's due. Like, this is the best WWE storytelling in years. I would hear an argument that
this is
it's the best. Yeah,
this is the best story in wrestling in years.
Absolutely. Like, you can start throwing all kinds of. Well, we got to see how it wraps up. We have to see them stick the landing still, right? But you could throw all kinds of hyperbole out in terms of where this ranks on the best angles, the best week-to-week storytelling and payoff eventually in the history of wrestling. We got to see how they stick the landing. But right now, the week-to-week is so great. Everyone's so great in their role. It's like a treat to watch.
Yep. That is the show. That is Survivor Series rankings. That is everything here on BAM. Matt, feel better.
Thanks, buddy. You too. Hope you're fully cured of that hangover in the next day or two.
I didn't really have a hangover. I was more tired from not sleeping. But yeah, no, I feel good. What do we got going on? We have a lot going on. All the shows this week. Oh, yeah. Best and worst of 2022. Patrons, if you're listening to this show, you're going to get it. If you're not a patron, wait until December 1st so you don't get double charged. Wait until December 1st so you don't get double charged. I'm going to add reminders,
That's
best
nice.
and worst of 2022 coming at you later this month.
Well, that's nice of you, Boris. We're not trying to screw you over here at NME Radio. We want you to appreciate the product and have fun with us. We have a Christmas show coming, probably Boxing Day. We're going to figure out what that is. But other than that, we're just keeping it real, talking some sports, some football and baseball and whatever is happening. F1 if it pops up. And, of course, the World Cup on the World Cup date. Boris here on the BAM feed.
BAMSportsEntertainment.com is the only place where you can get the BAM World Cup, the show where Boris equates watching a football match to dating and how you should treat them the same. ... That was today's episode.
Oh, I need to go back and listen to it with respect.
Oh,
you know,
of course.
and
100%
dignity,
respect.
Boris.
Of course.
Yes.
He's Matt. I almost called you Phil. I'm Boris. Till next time, stay tranquilo.
Yeah.